perfect beer from a very nice brewing company from where I live. Right, let's get into it. Right, okay, so we've done a video on showing you how to make one of these. This is a high current, ultra high end power cord. Now I'm going to say something really outrageous now. This is almost as good as a component upgrade. This is so good. I've built this for my zero zone power supply for my Edward Audio Apprentice Phono preamp, or phono stage, or whatever you want to call it. So basically we've used 3 different size conductors within this cable. So we've used a 0.8, a 0.6 and a 0.4. I've been doing tests on it and it works really well, and it definitely gives improvements over a standard size conductor on its own. Now we've got a silver plated MK tough plug on here, very well done. And now we're using, on the other end, we're using a Rhodium plated IEC plug made by Acrylink. Now I'm going to put all the descriptions in the box below on the video. These are cryogenically treated as well. So we're going to just whip off the top plug there to show you, and then you will be getting into the video. Now this video is about 1 hour and 10 minutes long, so it's you've got to persevere with it. So I painstakingly made this cable. It's beautifully made. There we go. We've got a very nice fuse in there for all you snake oil fans. It's a fabulous fuse, 13 amp. So we've got our earth there, our neutral and our live. So basically all I want to say is the video is a bit wobbly in places. It's not the best recorded. My son was having a bit of a bad day the day he recorded it, so it does wobble about a bit in the sort of second half of it. So anyway, I want to thank my son for doing it. He's really great. He's a serial gamer, so getting him away from the PlayStation is quite hard work these days. So all I'm going to say is let's get into the video. Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. In this video we're going to be making a high current power cord. This is the bee's knees. This is the best of the best. Now what I've done is I've already made up the cable here, but I'm going to show you how to build it on a very small length, because it just saves loads of time. And then afterwards we're going to terminate it. We're going to terminate this cable, not the small piece, but this cable. So to do this job today, we're going to need several things. So first of all, we'll start with a wire. So I've been working on a new design, basically using different size conductors. So we're basically using 3 lengths of 0.8, 3 lengths of 0.6 and 3 lengths of 0.4 silver filled copper. Okay, so that's that. We're going to need lots of PTFE tape again. We're going to need some an IEC plug, a silver plated MK tough plug. We're going to need some main suppressors for the inside of the IEC plug. We're going to need some silver solder. We're going to need some nylon braid and an array of heat shrink, and we're going to also need a bit of earth wire as well. So that's that. Another thing I wanted to say to you before I start this video is we finally received our XLR plugs. So that's going to be the next video coming up. XLR balanced interconnects. So stay tuned for that as well. We're going to need a soldering iron. We're going to need a drill. We're also going to need a heat gun to shrink the heat shrink. Right, I think that's about it. There may be some other bits that I've forgotten, but I'll show you in the video as we go along. So basically, what I've done is I've pre-cut these pieces of wire to the length already. So these ones here are 0.8 of a mil. These ones here are 0.6 of a mil. And then this is the 0.4 of a mil. Okay, now the reason why I've come to this conclusion of making cables with different size conductors is because we know that electricity flows through different size conductors differently. So in my testing of this, I found it definitely improves the sound better by doing this. So basically what we're going to be doing now is we're just going to be twisting this like so, and then I'm going to be putting it in the back of the drill here. So we're going to get our battery drill, take it down to so far. We're going to put that in there like that. And we're going to... Now you may want someone else to help you do this if you're on your own, but seeing as I've got a vise here, this is a woodworking vise. I'm in a bit of a mess in here. I've been doing a big job for a pub, so everybody's coming out of lockdown and they've all been renovating their pubs and doing them up and that. So basically what we're going to be doing now is going to be trying to straighten all these wires out there a bit to get them all neat and in the right area. Now this is a lot easier making this in a smaller length than it is a bigger length. So the other cable probably took me a couple of hours to make up altogether, and it just makes the video so long. So this way it works so much better. Right, okay, so we're going to put those in my vise here, nice and flat there, tighten it up. There we go. So now I'm just going to start to spin the drill. Don't have to go mad, just go a bit slowly with it. So by crossing the conductors over, it helps to reject radio frequency information and also magnetic interference. So that's that. So we're going to take that out of the drill now, and we're going to cut this in half now. Okay. So basically we're going to get a tape measure, lay that out there. So that works out to about at the moment 43 centimeters. So we're going to go 21.5 there. That's about right. Just double check that. Always double check before you cut. That works out to about 44 actually, so I can go 22. Right, okay. So that's that. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to wrap them 2 layers of PTFE tape. Now you can see why I've opted for this format now. I hope you like it. It just speeds up the process of making small amounts, small lengths of cable. It's really quick. See, look, we can really spin that nice and fast to get the video done. Right, okay. And we just spin it back again. Just spin it in your fingers, it's really nice and easy. Right. Okay, that's that one. I'll be back in a minute once I've done the other one. Right, so we've covered our 2 conductors in 2 layers of PTFE tape. So basically we're using 3 lengths of each of these sizes. So it makes a total size of 5.4 mil. Now this is quite a large conductor, that's why I call it a higher current power cord. So now what we've got to do now is we want to cover them in heat shrink. So what we're going to do, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of heat shrink, red and black. So for the live and the neutral, you could use brown and blue. It doesn't really matter. It gets covered up anyway, so you don't really see it. So we'll just pop that in there like so. Okay, if it goes a bit too long, you just need to snip a bit off, because you don't really want the PVC, the heat shrink, touching the conductor. Only the Teflon, which is the PTFE tape, because it basically it's got a lower dielectric constant than PVC. Sorry, I'm waffling again. Ready? Right. Okay. So we're just going to heat this up, shrink this down. Okay, you see it's got a bit long now. There, it's just gone too long, so we're going to have to snip that back with a knife, which is fine. But when you snip this back with a knife, you've got to be very careful not to score the conductor. We don't want to damage the conductor in any way by putting any knife marks into it. So you're going to need a very sharp knife. Spin it around there and just pop it off there. That's it. Right, okay, we might be able to just pull that back, that one there. Yeah, there you go. Right, okay, so that's one. And then we're going to put the black one on, and we'll be back in a minute once we've got the black one on. Okay, so we've got both of our conductors, our live and our neutral. Now, they're both the same lengths, and basically we need a piece of earth wire now. So we're going to make the earth wire slightly longer, because you can trim that back. So basically, now we're going to get our earth wire and our live and neutral. Now these are going to be a twisted geometry as well. Okay, I usually just make the earth wire slightly longer. Now you can either twist it by hand, or you can twist it in a drill. It's this is being a very small length. I can twist it by hand with this one. I twisted the other one with the drill. I stuck it in the drill and did it. It works really well. So again, by crossing over the conductors, what you're doing is you're basically rejecting any radio frequency information or electromagnetic interference that comes through the mains and that. It just helps to reject it. Right, okay, so when we get to the ends, we want to just we need to twist those around. Okay, so we're gonna leave the ends longer, slightly longer, because these are the bits that need to go into the plug afterwards, which you'll see on the longer length that I've already made. So now what we're going to be doing now is to hold the twist in place. We need to use more PTFE tape. I know someone made a comment about why do I use so much PTFE tape. It's just a great product. That's all it is. It just works really well on cable building. So we want to start that off again down there. There we go. It's basically like an umbilical cord. That's what it is. Oh, someone else made a comment as well about me saying basically too much. I find it very difficult. It's just the way I speak. I'm a North Londoner and I come from Islington, North London originally. So just a part of my growing up probably. I'll try to limit it down if I can. So here we go. So what we're going to be doing is two layers of this PTFE to hold this twist in place. So now we're going to be coming back on ourselves. It's very easy to do this in a small length. Right, okay, just go back a little bit and we're going to snip it there. Now we're going to cover this now after this in some braid. Now this is one thing that I said that I forgot to get out, so I'm going to get the braid out to show you. So here we are. This is our tinned copper braid. Now I'm going to put all the links to everything in the description below, so you know exactly where to buy all this stuff from. So this comes on a plastic former tube there to keep it in place. So basically what we're going to be doing now is we're going to offer that up. We're going to cut this slightly longer again. So we're going to chop it off about there. You can cut it with a pair of wire cutters, or I usually just use some old scissors. It works really well. So we'll put that back over there for a minute. I'm going to pop the end off of that. Now I'm able to thread all this through quite easy without these conductors getting stuck up in the braid. I usually just, for a start, pull back the earth wire there. I'm covering it in PTFE tape just to get it through the, and I'll pull it off afterwards. Right, that'll do. Chop that off there. There we go, it slides through nice and easy. So basically what we're going to do now is one end of this is going into the IEC plug. Now one end needs to just end flush with the well, it's not exactly flush, it's back a bit really from the top. So where I've ended the PTFE tape there, we're going to end the braid there as well. Now what we're going to be doing is pull it nice and tight back so you get a nice tight finish. And it's the dreaded PTFE tape out again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cover this in 2 layers of PTFE tape again now. There we go. This is a fabulous cable, by the way, and I'll explain after. I've been working on this design for a while. I had a thought about it a while ago, and right, okay, so you can feel your way where the end of it is, because you can feel the wires in there. So the end is about there. So then we're going to come back on ourselves a bit. It doesn't matter, you can put some more PTFE over it after if you've done it too short. Right, so here we go. I'm going to go up there. Go back on yourself. Always go back on yourself a bit. That's it. Right, snip that off there. So now what we've got to do is now we need to open up this braid. So basically all I do is I'll just snip along the top of it. I'll cut it down there a bit till we get to the right part that we need. So there's the other conductors there. There we go. So I was spot on with that. That was in the right place. So now we need just to open this up a bit. You can break this away. So basically what you're going to be doing is at one end, this is going to be earthed out with the earth of the with the earth, basically at the end of the so there's me saying basically again, sorry. Right, okay, so we need to cut that down a bit more than that, trim that up, keep it down to about there, get rid of some of that, because remembering you've got to be able to get this in your plug at the end as well. Right, that's that. There we go. So now what we're going to do is just twist this now. There we go. We've got that twisted nicely now. So if you can trim this back a little bit more, just around there, get some of those little bits off of it. That'd be great. Right. Okay, let's clear this away, get this out. Nothing worse than a messy bit when you're trying to work. Right. Okay, now, so what we need to do now is we're just going to finish this off here with a nice bit of PTFE tape around there, nice and neatly. Okay, and now we're going to now twist the braid around the earth wire as we go up. Right, okay, and now we're going to cover it in PTFE as well. Go down there. Oops. Doesn't matter if it goes thinner like that. I just we'll go up so far. It's only got to go because it needs to go into the plug. What we'll do, we'll pull that back a bit like that. But you want to make sure none of these conductors break off at the end here. They've all got to be intact. Right, just pull those over like that, that's better. It's a bit easier like that. It gets a bit more fiddly, this bit here does. Just because I get down onto there. That's better, there we go, like that's nice and neat now. Get plenty around there. Some more around there again. Right. Okay, so there we are. So now we've covered it in braid. We've got the braid being earthed out at one end, which is the plug end, which is this plug, not the IEC plug but the mains plug. Right, okay, so now all we need to do now is we're going to cover that in some heat shrink. I like to keep everything nice and neat and tidy with heat shrink around it. Okay, so we just put that through there, thread all that through. There we go. So now we just need to heat shrink that down. Right, okay, so we've got to that stage now. So all we need to do now is put some nylon braid over it. Being able to get the nylon braid through again, we need just to put some PTFE tape around the end of the conductor, just so it threadles through easy. Otherwise it will be a bit of a nightmare getting it through. I hope you're all well out there. You ain't caught the coronavirus or anything. So it's been a bit of a nightmare for everybody this, but I'm sure we'll get through it one way or the other. Right, okay, I should have just left the last bit on there. I've probably just repeated myself there. Right, okay, so we got up to there. So now what we need to do is we need to plug out our soldering iron in, because we need to chop that. So basically we'll do it back over here again. Right, okay, this is the new toy that I've just bought for the business. The Janome HD9 professional sewing machine. It's a fabulous machine, it's really, really good. We're going to be doing cables on this as well. We'll be showing you how to make cables up on that as well. So, now what we've got to do now is we've got to thread all this through our nylon braid I chose this nylon braid because basically this power cord here is going on my new power supply for the phono preamp. See, this is the bit where it gets difficult when you've got to get it through this nylon braid, and you've got any conductors sticking out. There we go. Get it up to about there. So what we do is I tend to just bring it back a little bit from there, and we'll be back in a second once the soldering iron's heated up. Right, okay, our soldering iron's heated up now, so all we've got to do now is just cut away the nylon braid with the back part of the soldering iron there. Take it around like that, pull that away, there we go. Right, so we've got to that stage now, so I'd just like to clean that off because it leaves like a plasticky bit on the back of that. So we're going to put that to one side for a minute. But we've got to swap over. I know we've still got that plugged in there. Right, okay, so now we're just going to use a piece of heat shrink over it on each end now. I only do a small bit on this because it's only a small piece. So right, so now we've got to get the heat shrink over this piece. Now this tends to go a bit, all the strands tend to splay out a bit, that makes it difficult to get it over. So it's the dreaded PTFE tape out again. We're going to put a piece of this around it, either end, because you can pull it nice, you can make it really tight so it goes on nice and easy. There we go, that's that one. Pop it off there. There we go. Right, okay, so we're going to use the heat gun again just to shrink this down. In fact, what I'm going to do for this actually is I'm going to cut that in half because it looks a bit too big on there. It looks a bit silly. Just this is basically as I said, a sample cable, but it's still got a, there we go. Right, that's that bit. Same again on the other end. Right, just thread all that through. Right, there we go. I'm going to heat that up again. Try to hold it away from the nylon braid. You don't want to burn the braid. It just it looks crap if you do that. There we go. That's done. Now we'll take that off that end. Now there's our wire made up. So this is a mini version. Oops, I dropped it. This is a mini version of this. So now what we're going to be doing is showing you how to terminate the big one. As soon as we've already made that up, and that needs to be done, I want to get that in the system. So let's get rid of this this heat gun now. We won't need this heat gun now. Remember, these are really hot, these heat guns, so put them somewhere. I'll just leave it down there to cool off a bit. Now, I want to, at this point, I want to give a really good big up to a company that I've been using for a long time, and they're called TM3 Connections. Very good company. They've definitely got unbeatable plating. So this is the MK tough plug, and the plating on this is really fabulous. And I still think that they even silver plate the fuse in there, which is already silver plated anyway. Probably it should be a Bushman fuse. They usually supply them with Bushman fuses. Now, when I ran my audio business, all my power cords were fitted with Bushman fuses. This isn't. This is an SME, an SEM. So, but we're going to be discarding this fuse. So, for all you non-believers out there, and you snake oil people, we're going to be putting a gold-plated audiophile fuse in there, boys. Look at that. It's great. It's a lovely 13 amp. It's got a pure silver burn wire. Now, I bought these a while ago, and they're silver end caps, and then they're gold plated, 24 karat gold plated. Now, I can't put a link to this, but I'll put a link to a similar fuse in there. So that's going to be going in after. So now, so basically, this is the bit where we've got to put our plug on the end. So we're going to just unravel, I should say, our cable. Now these are going to have to be cut back a bit, some of this wiring, because it's way too long, and I knew that when I was making it. But this plug has also got to be slightly modified because it's too big. So basically we need to, they don't pull out now, do they? Right, okay. So I'm able to get this large cable through there. We've got to cut this this cable strain a bit back. So we're going to put it on here, and we're going to take a knife, and we're just going to slide it down. There we go. We'll cut that bit out there. Same with that. You've got to be very careful with this. There we go. Just chop a bit down there out. So we need to open that up to be able to get that in there like so, because otherwise it won't go in there. So that's going over to that side. This is going around to this side, and then the earth is going up to there. Now, when I built all my other power cords in there, I was using the Furatech plugs. They're highly expensive, very good plugs, highly expensive. But I was always not overly impressed by the plating. If you pull them out a lot and put them back in again, they tend to the plating tends to scrape off a little bit. It's really weird, but this plug doesn't do that. So now this is the cutting lengths on here for the wires, but I tend to just offer it up and do it myself. So we'll take that up to here. We're just going to put a little mark on there. We want to overshoot it slightly. Okay, with this one here, we're going to take it to about there. Right, okay, so let's get some scissors or some wire snippers if you want to use those. Chop that off, and this one needs to be chopped off about there. Okay, so we'll leave that one till the last. This needs to go under. In fact, it would have been probably better if we twisted it around that way. Took it like that, that's better, and then we can push that underneath there. That's good. Right, okay, so now we've got our soldering iron on there still, which is nice and hot. So we need our knife, and I'm just going to cut away some of this insulation around there, about there. There we go, and now we've got a load of PTFE tape around that still, so we need to just reveal the conductors again there. Take that off of there. It's about 3 layers on there, I think. Or is this 2 layers? I can't. Oh, there's 2 layers. It should only be 2 layers, but there we go. Nearly there. Right, okay, I'll take the PTFE tape off the other one, and I'll be back in a second. Right, okay, so we've stripped back to where we need to be. So what we're going to be doing now is just going to be soldering up the ends on these two here. So basically put that down there. Yeah, that's one. And also what I like to do is I like to solder in the wires to the plug. Right, okay, that's on there as well. Now remembering, you've still got to be able to get these in the actual plug bits themselves. So we're going to open this up now. See, I don't always think these sort of plugs tend to clamp the wire down hard enough. That's why I like to solder these. Now the Furatech ones, in fact I have come across an imitation Furatech plug on eBay now, which I shall share with you guys, show you where it is. It's about, still quite expensive though compared to, I mean these work out to about £10 I think each. So there you go, that fits on there lovely. Right, okay, so this one the same again. That one's already up. So what we're going to be doing now, this is very thick, it's flexible, so it's not always that easy to route about, but so what we need to do is just to flip this up like that. You have to pull these little levers back there, that's it, to get that one up. There we go. So see what I mean, you've got to get it twisted in there. I'll reduce that a bit more. There you go, it's gone in lovely now. So all we're going to do is just get that into place there. That one. You see I've overshot it at the end there, that's the reason, because I'm going to cut that back in a minute. Okay, screwing that up very tight there. Right, so we need that out. We'll leave it in there for a second. We're just going to bring that round. This one has to come round here. So there's another bit on this plug there that we might have to modify slightly. So let's pull that out a minute. And there's a reason for this, is purely because these plugs were never made for such a large cable to go into. I've got to try to get it out of there now. Right, okay, we've taken that out of there. Now, if you can see, just here, there's that piece of plastic there. We need to cut that away because it's in the way, because our wires are quite large. So all we do is just take a knife again, take it down, and we need to cut that out. It's difficult, take that out there as well. We'll just get the knife in there, chop that. I mean, these bits here, they're generally there to help route the wires, but because our wire's so large, it needs to be removed. There we go. Right, that's out. Right, okay. So now this is our end of the. This is our other end there, which needs to go right on there, which we need now to tighten up. Right, okay, what we're going to do is just going to try that back in there, make sure it's in the right place before we do any soldering on it. So that needs to come back there, that's got to go around there, and that should hopefully fit into there, like so. You might have to just sort of, you have to mess about with this a bit. Right, get that in there. There we go, that's it, that's perfect, that's exactly how we want it. And then that's going to come around here. Now before we go any further, we want to terminate the earth onto there as well now, so we'll shoot the earth over the end a little bit again. Right, Okay, we can pull all these bits out again for the minute, because now the earth has now got to be terminated. So what we're going to do now is find a knife again, chop that back a bit there. Now you see what I've done is, because I've twisted the earth around there, we really want to just remove some of this PTFE tape again. Which the thing is with this PTFE tape is it tends to mould into itself. So it tends to be quite difficult to get off once you start. There we go. I'll just chop it back a bit because I don't want to go too far back, because we need it to shield the to insulate the wire there a bit. Right, okay, so that's it. Right, so that's there, and turn around there a bit more, and then we're going to pinch that up. There we go. It does get very fiddly at this bit, so just bear with it, persevere with it. There we go, we're getting there. This is only done at one end, remember. The other end has just got the earth in it, hasn't got the actual... Right, now we've got that back to there. Now there's our braid, which we're undoing slightly there. And then now we can then reveal the earth wire now. Right, there we go. So this is going to be wrapped around there, and this is going to now be soldered up as well. So solder and soldering on. There we go, that's lovely. A bit more down there, I think. That's it. Right, let's get this plug on. Right, so what we want to do now is we want to just solder all our ends off there. With this end here now, it's a bit long, so we need to snip that back a bit with some pinchers like that. The other ones it don't matter too much about, so let's just solder that one in, because this has to be soldered in. At the other end on the IEC plug, it's got very nice clamps. So we need to hold it there for a while just to make sure it really heats up. There we go, that's done it. That's lovely. You hold it there and it just melts into it. You can see it shrinking into the hole. There we go, that's that. Don't touch that now, it's red hot. So we're going to turn the cable over, and then you can see this side here. We'll probably just snip that off anyway a bit. It does stick out the back a bit, but we'll just snip that bit off there. That's it. Right. Solder that one in as well. You can see us do it here. It's a bit more clearer there now. A bit more on there. I mean, ultimately a solder connection is very good. Has that done it? Let's have a look. Needs a bit more on there because the hole's quite large on that piece. Let's get some more in there. There we go. Right, that's my compressor cutting in now, sorry. Right, there we go. That has soldered in lovely now. Just switch this off. Right, so now what we need to do now is we need to now connect our earth wire up as well, and this one's also going to be soldered in as well. See, that's red hot. I've just touched it. Right, okay, so let's bring that up, push that through there. Right, we're going to tighten that down as well as soldering it. Make sure it's yep, that's fine. Snip that off the back again, and we're going to hold that down like that. And let's go for the soldering again. Because these sort of largest pins, they it takes a while for the soldering iron to heat it up to adhere to the silver plating on there. See, look, it just slides about otherwise. There we go, look at that, that's perfect. That's exactly how I like it. Exactly like that. So it's give it a nice little bulbous bit to it. That one's the same, and so is that one. Right, okay, so we're going to leave that end now just to cool down a bit. So we're going to turn our attention to the other end. So we'll put these bits and the plug over here. We'll leave that there. So we're going to turn our attention now to the IEC end. Now this is a lovely plug. This is made by a company called Acrolink. These are cheap as chips on eBay. I've had this one quite a while now, good couple of years. I've never got around to using it until now. They still sell them on there, so I'll put a link on there to them. Right, okay. So these bits here, it's the inside of it. So you've got your two clamps there that go through there, so we need to thread all this through here first. There we go. I'm going to take that up there. Now there is a little bit that's fallen out of there. Now because this wire is quite wide, quite large, we probably won't need that. I'll see if it will go back in, but it probably won't when it comes to it. So we're just going to pull that back because we don't need that up there at the moment, up the end. So because this is not going to be soldered in, they've got massive clamps on these, which is fabulous. All we're going to be doing is just pulling back, undoing the clamps like that, and then we're going to solder up the ends of the wires. So then we can clamp that in nicely. I mean, these are all imitation Furatech, Wattgate types of plugs. Right, okay, so we need to just look at what's the right, okay, so the wire's going in there. Right, okay, brilliant. Right, okay, so what we're going to be doing now is just going to solder these two ends up. I'm not sure whether we're going to need to make those shorter. We probably are. We're probably going to have to make those slightly shorter as well, these. So they always go oversized. I have to make them oversized just in case. Worst thing is to cut them undersized and then it's no good. Right, okay, so we can just push all that back now. There we go, look at that, perfect. Right. Right, okay. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to trim this back slightly. Doesn't have to go back a lot, just take a little bit off of that. There we go. Right, we want to make it the same length as that one. Slightly longer, very slightly. Right, okay. And the same with the earth wire now. The earth wire needs to be the same length. Chop this off there, about there. So all about the same length. We'll strip the earth wire back. There we go. PTFE tape's fallen down. Right. There we go. So now all we've got to do now is just got to solder up these ends now. Okay, we'll start with the earth wire first. Alright, pull that back. Perfect. Right, now we might as well fit on the IEC plug on this end first now. Right, so we've got that on there, we've got that on there. Let's just see if we can get that in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to somehow because it looks quite large, but that bit tends to, where's my screwdriver? You won't be able to see in here very easy. It's I need to get some light on the subject. Right, okay, so we've got to this stage now. We've soldered up the ends, so they've just got to be put in the end of the IEC plug now, and then we're going to put our main suppressor in the end of it. Right, okay, so we've got our live on that side, our neutral on that, and the earth at the top. So we're just going to be putting the earth up there. Right, okay, so we'll screw in the, we'll get them all sort of in place. You can look on top of there like that. It's going to go in there, that one's going to go down there. And now we've got our main suppressor here. Just going to cut the legs down a little bit on it. I'm going to push that into both sides of that, under there. So I'm going to come around this side and tighten up the screw. Whether you can see that there or not. One. Now we're going to put this in down here, down that side there. I need to undo that a bit more than that to get it in place. It needs to be undone a little bit more than that. There we go. Right, it's going in the wrong side there. Take it over to that bit there. These are very fiddly, these plugs. Now, for some reason, there we go. That's it, it's in there now. That's brilliant. Let's pop it out again a bit, there we go. Now these, the reason you don't really, you don't solder these ones in anyway, they just clamp in place. They've got some really nice grips in these. Now this plug is copper and it's rhodium plated. It's a very nice plug. Right, okay, so that's that in. So we've got our, so see, look, this is the issue now. That's popped out of there again now. So I need to undo that again a minute, just to make sure that gets clamped in as well, because it won't work unless that's in. You can actually solder these two onto the metal plugs first. In fact, I'm going to undo those and solder them on this time, because that's playing up a little bit. Right, okay, so we've taken that off for a minute because it'll be easier just to solder these on. So all we're going to do is just load our soldering iron up with a bit of solder on there. Give it a wipe first. Okay. Right, that's one. No, it's falling off. Let's get that round there a bit more. There we go. Let's come off again. Right, okay, so we've soldered these onto here. Takes a bit of time to get them on there because the wire gets really hot and right, so give that a second just to dry. There we go, that's solid now. Right, okay, so we're going to go again with it now. So get that one in there. This one here has got to go up into here, like so. That one's got to go into that side there. There we go, that's perfect. So we're going to turn this over now. We're going to tighten all the screws up. I know, that's what I say, these videos, they really drag on. Has that one gone in there? That one looks like it hasn't gone in properly. Tighten that one up. Let's pull that one out again. Just have another. Push that in tighter there. Come on, that's better. That's it. You want to make sure you get a really nice connection. So just really make sure they're tightened up as hard as they can go. And the grips in there really grip it well. Right, so that's that. And now we've just got to do that one there, which is the earth. Tighten the earth up. Fabulous. There we go, that's all done. It's all in there nice. So now there's a little line at the back here, under here, and there's a little line in there, a little like a slot. So then this then comes up, slots into there, like so. That's it. And now we've got some screws here that we that go in there that can get screwed up either side. It took a while to screw down these two, they're quite long. There we go. Swing that side. So now all we've got to do now is just to fit our mains plug on the other end, which won't take a minute. We've soldered everything there, we've just got to put it in place and then basically put the top lid on of the plug. Right, that's that, and then we just got to tighten up these screws in there, just to keep it nice and find the screw there. That's it. That's it. There we go. There we go, nearly there. Right, that's it, that's nice and tight. So you've got to push that bit back in there, it's popped out the back there. That's not too bad. Right, okay, let's just get our the other end now on. So there's our earth wire that needs to go in first. That can pop into there. Push that down nice and tight. There we go, that goes in there. Come back round to this side here now. Get the neutral in. There we go. Bring that round here. Right, okay, so that needs to go down there. It does get very congested in these plugs, so you need to push that down there. That's better. There we go. It takes a lot of patience to make one of these. I've made shed loads of them in my time. There we go. That goes in there like so. Right, we're nearly there, boys and girls. There we go. So that's on there. So all we've got to do now is to pierce the resistance. The gold plated fuse, or the silver, pure silver gold plated fuse, pops on there like so. There we go. There we go, look at that. Wonderful. So that, make sure you get that round there, into there. Right, well, we've just got our plug top now to go on there. Right, okay, so we might need to twist that round a little bit. What we need to do is to make sure that that's in the right place there. Let's just double check that, take that off of there. What we want to do is we need to make sure our plug is flat with that end layer like that. So that end is like that. That's perfect. Right, okay, let's get that on there. Make sure there's no rubbish in there off the bench. There we go. Silver plated, all these are silver plated, gold fuse. Pop the end on that on there. Hold that down nice. Screw it up. And there's one power cord made. I just want to take this opportunity to thank my son Tom, who films these. He gets very bored doing it, but I really appreciate it. And there we go. Now, this, in my opinion, is one of the best power cords you can make. You can spend thousands on power cords. It won't be any better than this, trust me. This is the dog's kahunas. This is absolutely fabulous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list everything below that you need to make this power cord. And all I can say is happy building. So thanks for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to give this video a like. Thanks very much.